Hi there, Reinier, Presence for Life, and I just want to talk a little bit. It's been a tough day. I noticed that some things are pulling you down in the world, at your work, at home, and the question is, what are you going to do about it? That's something everybody will be thinking. That's typically a thought of somebody who is not in the presence. And then again, when you do live in the presence, it's a thought of somebody who is in the presence as well. So what's the difference? What's the difference between having to solve something in the presence and having to solve something not in the presence? When you're not in the presence, problems appear to be real. And a good question is, are they in fact real? That's interesting. So, normal people have a problem and they need to solve it. And why do they need to solve it? Because it's real. Now, suppose it were not real. Would that change something on the problem? Yeah. If the problem is not real, it changes something. So another thing, if you're not in the presence, is that you feel an urge to solve the problem. Now, question 2 is, does it help anything if you solve it? Now, the first thought is, oh yes, of course it helps. But reality is that the mind does something there. Yes? So basically you have a problem, and what does the mind do? The mind is first thinking about the best solution, and then it will simulate the solution to see if it helps in your mind. Yeah, like a cinema, very much like a cinema. And then maybe there's another option as a solution, and the mind will simulate that as well. And that is if it is an unknown option. Yeah, so basically the mind cinema is showing you the movie of how it will work out. Yeah, whether it will help or not. And then there's another option that you have seen 1,000 times that it was working. Yeah? So your experience is that it will work. So you think that's a good reason that it will work. Yeah? So that's another option for the mind. And then a fourth option is that you've heard from some other people who have seen it work 1,000 times. Yeah? So that could be a great opportunity, yeah, for a solution. Yeah, so basically you have many different ways to find your solution for the mind. Yeah? So the mind does all these things and then picks the best one and then starts pushing for it. Yeah. So some solutions can be implemented easily, yeah, and some others are tough, yeah. Nobody wants to cooperate to implement them, yeah. So there's a lot of things that can happen once you've decided what the solution is, and then basically what matters is whether it worked. Yeah, so basically, if you implemented solution, then did it work? And when you turn back the movie of reality, yeah, you may notice that this great solution from the mind did in fact not work. I think it doesn't work in probably over 50% of the times, which is pretty much. Yeah. So this greatest solution is only working half of the time or less. Yeah. So now if you live in presence, yeah, you could just ditch the mind. Yeah, just forget about it. And then what happens? Yeah. Now that's interesting. Question is, does that help? No, it doesn't help. Not always. It doesn't always help. But I think you can notice that there's a lot of less tension in it. Yeah, there's much less stress. So that could give you something to ponder about.